Welcome to the Explainer, where we break down big ideas into something you can actually use. Today, we are jumping into a book that has seriously changed the game for millions of people when it comes to self-improvement, Atomic Habits by James Clear. We're going to find out why the smallest changes can lead to the most incredible results.
All right, let's start with something I think we've all felt. You know that feeling when you're putting in the hours, you're sticking to the plan, but you're just not seeing any changes. You feel like you're completely stuck, just spinning your wheels. Well, James Clear has a name for this. He calls it the Valley of Disappointment. And it's that gap between the results we expect to see and what's actually happening. Honestly, this is where most of us give up. We think, what's the point? It's not working. But here's the secret. It is working. Your effort is just building up like potential energy right under the surface.
So how do you push through that valley? What if the answer wasn't some huge, heroic effort? What if it was about making tiny, almost invisible improvements every single day?
Okay, check out this number because it's pretty mind-blowing. If you get just 1% better at something every day for a year, you don't just get 365% better. No, because of compounding, you end up almost 38 times better. That is the incredible, almost magical power of these tiny atomic habits.
See, we all think progress should be this nice, neat, linear thing. You put in an hour of work, you get an hour's worth of results, right? But that's not how it works. Real, lasting growth is exponential. It's this J-shaped curve. It feels painfully slow at first, and then, all of a sudden, it just takes off like a rocket. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The rock doesn't split because of that one final hit. It splits because of the 100 hits that came before it that seemed to do nothing. Every single one of your small habits is another tap on that rock.
Okay, so we get it. Compounding is the what. But what about the how? How do you actually make this stuff happen in your messy real life? Well, the secret isn't about having more willpower. It's about designing the world around you so the good habits are just inevitable.
This is one of my favorite lines from the book. It forces you to stop thinking about your goals and start thinking about your systems. The people who get amazing results don't have some superhuman self-control. They've just built better systems that make doing the right thing the easiest thing.
Clear gives us these 4 laws of behavior change, and we're going to zoom in on 2 of them that are just absolute game changers. The first is make it obvious, and the second is make it easy.
For example, look at this. A hospital wanted people to drink more water. They didn't nag them or put up a bunch of signs. They just put water bottles in every single drink fridge. They made it obvious. And just by doing that, water sales jumped by more than 25%. They made the best choice the most obvious choice.
And this works at home, too. James Clear tells this great little story about how he started eating an apple every day. His secret weapon? He took the apples out of the crisper drawer in the fridge and put them in a bowl on the counter. That's it. Because they were visible, he ate them. He made the habit obvious.
So designing your environment, that's a huge piece of the puzzle. But what if you've got the perfect system, but it's pointed at the wrong target? This brings us to what I think is the deepest, most powerful idea in the whole book. And it's not about what you do.
It's about who you're becoming. This is where everything shifts from your outcomes to your identity.
Because here's the thing. Real long-term change isn't about the goal you're trying to hit. It's about the kind of person you see yourself as.
Let me put it this way. The goal isn't to read a book, it's to become a reader. The goal isn't to run a marathon, it's to become a runner. Every time you read just one page or you lace up your shoes for a 1-mile run, you are casting a vote for that new identity. You're giving yourself evidence that this is who you are now.
And that is the ultimate goal. When a habit is just part of who you are, the struggle disappears. You're not trying to force yourself to do something anymore. You're simply acting like the person you already believe you are. The motivation just comes naturally.
So, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually start building up those votes for your new identity? Well, there's this brilliant, super practical strategy in the book that I just love.
So get this. There was this 23-year-old stockbroker who had 2 jars on his desk. One was filled with 120 paper clips, and the other was empty. His only goal each morning was to make 120 sales calls, and after every single call, good or bad, he would just move one paper clip from the full jar to the empty one. He wasn't obsessed with the outcome of the calls, he was just focused on the simple action of moving the paper clip, and that little system made him wildly successful.
And that's the whole paperclip strategy. It's so simple.
First, you start with a habit that's so small you can't say no. Second, you track it visually so you can see your progress. And third, this is the most important part, your main goal is just to not break the chain. It makes the whole process obvious, easy, and, you know what, incredibly satisfying.
So that leaves us with one final question, and this one's for you. What's your paperclip? What is that one tiny, simple, repeatable action you can take today that will cast a vote for the person you truly want to become?